So how can you rank higher if you don't actually know where you rank in the first place? And also, did you know you're probably number one? Now, you're number one in ranking if someone stood outside your front door looking for your specific business. But let's face it, the majority of people aren't stood outside your front door. In fact, the majority of people may be at the local town, local city, maybe they're in a shopping centre, or for my American viewers, in a shopping mall. And yet this is a really important factor. In fact, it's the third most important factor that Google uses to rank your business on Google Maps. And we know this is a hot topic because Google recently adjusted the algorithm. It was known as the Vicinity update. And that Vicinity update was even narrowing it even more closer to where the person is searching from. So if you knew where most of your customers were searching from, and you could put your office right next to them, you'd be ranking number one. But of course, that's never going to happen. Most people aren't outside your office or your front door searching for your business. So how can you know where you rank in your local village or town or centre or shopping mall? Well, you can teleport yourself there with a special tool that I'm going to show you today. And in that way, you can see how far you rank beyond your local vicinity. But also you can see how well your competition is doing in those areas too. And of course, if you mention those towns and those areas and you have references in your Google business profile, you can start to build and accumulate your authority in those areas as well as your local area. So if you know where you rank, then you know what your competition's doing to rank there, you'll be able to then optimize your Google business profile and you'll be able to rank there too. And what's more is this teleporting tool I have is absolutely free currently at this particular moment. So you need to try it out straight away. So let me show you how it works. So of course, if I'm in Times Square and I do a search for web designer, then I wouldn't expect to find my business because it wouldn't be of any use and it's certainly not within the local vicinity. But if I do a search for web designer locally, then I'd expect to come up on Google Maps. So as you can see here, I've done a search web designer, which is local to me. Number one is this paying for ad. Number two, paying for ad. So number three, which actually is number one organically, is my business, which is what I'd expect to see. But let me just show you what else you can do. You can then teleport. What it will do, it will take the vicinity, the area that you're in, and it will use a search term. So you can change this if you want, but I'm going to stick with web designer. So what the teleport will now do is it will then take my company, which is where we've teleported from, take the search term, which I've already put in. It'll take an area, which is about 1/3 of a mile around it or 500 meters. And then I can change this if I want. So I can make this larger or smaller depending on how much the radius I want to use. But the main thing is then to teleport it to a place of interest. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move it out slightly. You'll notice the next nearest town to me is Boscombe. So if I was in Boscombe searching for a web designer, would I appear? So I'm over here a mile or two away. So I'm going to teleport myself to Boscombe and now we see what results come up. So yes, if I was in Boscombe and I searched for a web designer and I stood there, I would come up number one. So there's the ranking, I'm number one and there's the 20 others that follow. Okay, but that's all very well. What about if I was a bit further away? Let's go for the largest town to me. So I'm based here in Southbourne and I'm going to now try, say, Bournemouth Town Centre. In fact, Bournemouth Town Centre is actually there. There's the town centre. So let's do that. So I wouldn't expect now a few miles down the road to appear, but let's see if it does. Okay, so that's the power that I've got through my efforts. Is I'm still coming in the top three when someone stands in the middle of the town centre a few miles down the road from me. So that's really good to see. Now I'm going to just go one more. Let's go to a town that's quite a way away. So let's go to Poole. So let's see at what point do I die out, because at the end of the day, the Vicinity update is going to affect it as well. So I'm in Poole now. So this is a good several miles back down the coast and it's the next biggest town as well. Let's now see how I stand here. Teleport me to Poole, the search for web designer, and I come up number 8. So what does this show? Well, it shows that to some degree, even if you're not close, so Vicinity is certainly one part of the algorithm, but even if you're not absolutely that close, you can still pick up because of your authority and really just because of your ranking ability. And that's really down to the fact that with a little bit of work over the last year or so with my web design company and with my Google My Business or Google Business profile, I can appear in quite a lot of results now and a large radius outside of my small area of Southbourne. Now, I mentioned earlier this Vicinity update, which was the biggest update Google's given for over 5 years, and it has affected quite a few businesses, but in a positive way if you're handling things well with your SEO. But what did Google actually do when they shrunk this area? Why is it called the Vicinity update? Well, if you're not aware of what these things are, then you need to head over to this video now, because there I show you why you should be ranking number 1 and the reason why you're not ranking number 1 because of this update.